So today's video is about how quickly can a house get on the market to be sold. And we'll talk about that right after this. Hello and welcome. Today's video is about how quickly can you get a house on the market to sell for probate. I had a thumbnail that was kind of cute, and it signifies 3-0, meaning roughly about 30 days. I have seen some go incredibly fast. I saw several this week that had what's called letters of administration within days of the case being filed. And that's what's needed. The personal representative has to have those letters of administration, and then they have the authority to sell the house. And so it really depends on the court how quickly they do it. Like I said, I saw a couple this week that literally were either 1 day or 2 days, and they were off and running and ready to put the house on the market. Most of the time it's about 30 days. If there's nobody contesting that the personal representative who made the filing is to be the personal representative, then it's usually less than 30 days that the letters of administration come out. And then as part of that process, the notice to creditors goes out, and that's a 90-day process. So you could have the house sold inside of that 90 days because all you need is those letters of administration. And if you get that in, say, 2 days or 2 weeks, inside of a month, I've sold several where I had a cash buyer and the only thing I was waiting on was the HOA. So they got their letters of administration within an extremely short period of time. I had it sold within 4 days or 5 days in a couple of situations. And so literally within 1 month, I had it sold for cash, and we just had to wait a couple weeks on the HOA, and we still wound up closing, and the whole process wound up being less than 45 days. So anybody that says, oh, it'll take forever to sell a house through probate, I'm a real estate agent with RE/MAX. So I'm a traditional real estate agent in that respect. I do have another business where I help people, but as a traditional agent, I can sell a house, and the only thing that's going to slow me down is the HOA if there's cash involved. So don't want you to think that probate process is long, tedious. The only time it gets that way is if it's complicated, and usually the major complication that can come into play is other people in the family decide they want to fight, or they don't like the way things are going, or they think they should have been the personal representative, or all kinds of animosity can pop up, which is a shame because in the end, if it winds up getting contested, it's the attorneys that are going to make the money. The pot, that's the inheritance, it's just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller as the attorneys take more and more and more money in fees. And so that's why I don't recommend that families fight. I try to get them to come to a common agreement, so to understand that it's really, I don't want an attorney's upset with me, but it's you against the attorneys realistically in that situation. They're wanting to make as much money as they can. Some of them, not all of them. I know a few that are flat fee, and they'll walk away from a case like that because that's not in their best interest. Their best interest is moving on to the next case, so they don't take cases where it's contested. And I don't blame them because that's their business setup, and that's what they want to do. So other attorneys, they look forward to there being people contesting and it going to court, and they get to charge a lot of money hourly for their fees. And like I said, that inheritance pot gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's really sad because whoever passed away, they didn't want the money going to the courts. They didn't want the money going to attorneys. They wanted the money going to loved ones. So that's it for this week's video on how quickly can I sell a probate house these days. Today is the end of May 2023, and I attest that this is the case now. I looked at roughly about 200, a little over 200 cases this past week, and so when I speak of that, about time frame and things like that, I'm talking firsthand knowledge of seeing the cases and how quickly they're proceeding. So I'm not an attorney, do not claim to be, but I do read cases and I read the wills, and I find out a lot of useful information and anything to help my clients and in their endeavor to sell a house and move on with their lives. So I hope you found this video to be helpful and informative, and that you look forward to coming and checking out the next one. Please remember to like this video and subscribe, and that way you'll get a reminder of when the next video drops, and we'll see you next week. Take care and stay safe.